Well, Claire, one of the most Googled areas when it comes to leadership is the old leadership versus management conundrum. The difference between the two, the distinctions that they have. What is the research saying about leadership versus management in the 21st century?
Yeah, that's right. Well, the leaders, they really focus on the big picture. They're the vision casters, they're the idea generators, whereas managers, their role really is to turn that vision into function. So while leaders might say, this is where we're going, managers say, okay, well, this is how we're going to get there. So leaders are often entrepreneurial, they're coming up with ideas all the time, and then managers, effective managers get behind the leaders and they say, okay, that's the big picture, these are the steps that we need to take to get there. Sometimes the idea seems not possible or too big or too complicated, but an effective manager, rather than shutting down the idea, will say, we might not be able to get to it by doing this or this, but another solution is going this way and still achieving that same outcome.
Right, yeah. So the old manager on task and leader about team and connecting and engaging with people. So are we talking about two different people, two different categories of skill sets, or is it the one person who swaps hats? I'm leader now, so I'll go into visionary mode, and now I'm manager, so I'll put on my task-focused hat?
Well, maybe in some rare cases, there's someone who can switch between the leader role and the manager role quite easily. But I think often what you find is that the gift mix that people have means that a leader likes to be able to see that big picture and to be able to not, I guess, get caught up and slowed down by all the details. Whereas the manager needs to be able to see that big picture, understand it, but then say, these are the detailed steps in how we've got to get there as an organisation. So unless it's a very small organisation where maybe the boss has to play both roles, ideally you've got a leader backed up by the manager who can see it and do the practical steps to get there.
Yeah. I guess you've got to feel sorry for the managers over the years who've copped a little bit of bad PR. They're cracking the whip and getting everyone focused on task while the leader has been the inspiring visionary. Have we given managers a bit of a bad stick, and what's your sense of that?
That's definitely how they're seen, that they're task-driven, that they're about productivity and outcomes, and that's an important role of managers. But also for a successful organisation, particularly in the 21st century, managers need to have people skills. They need to have good EQ so that they can really engage with the people and create a sense of ownership that the staff have with the task, so that if it's just task driven, people will lose interest, they'll lose ownership. But if you can create a culture, and the managers are essential in that role, where they are engaging with people and as well as the leaders, who obviously need to inspire people and give that bigger picture direction, then you'll build a healthy organisation.
And I guess that's more the reality that we have today. Smaller teams, self-directed teams, the key point person that everyone has in terms of direct report is a manager, and so they need to better engage with the people and communicate. It's not just about task, because they're the main ones, often having to do a bit of a leadership role as well as manage task and outcomes. So is it an artificial distinction today? I mean, this idea of a leader is like this and a manager like that. I mean, have the two come together, or are there still clear differences between those two roles?
I think the interplay of the two has come together and needs to work very closely together. And like I said, the people skills are essential in both the leader and the manager. And there are skills like that across both. But if you think about the function, the function of the leader is more about the entrepreneurial big picture direction, whereas the function of the manager is to take that and take the team on the journey of how they're going to get there. So the manager's more at the coalface of working with the practical side of things, and they're the bridge between the direction and the visionary and the outcomes and practical.
So I guess if the leader doesn't have those task skills to bring about those outcomes, particularly in an era more focused on productivity, they either develop them or they hire in those managers to bring about the outcomes. And similarly, the manager needs to develop some of those people skills because, again, that's more of an expectation, particularly with the emerging generations coming through, and just people's expectations of the sort of manager they want to work for these days has to have that engaging people focus. So where's the history going as we look to the future here? I mean, if we look back to the past, ever since corporations have existed, it's been more the domain of the manager. It's been about productivity and outcome and efficiency and structures and organisational charts. Probably really only in the last 20 years have we seen the emergence of the leader, the visionary, inspiring leader, EQ, emotional intelligence, this sort of thing has really raised the leader to new heights, even above manager. But where do you see it heading as we look to the future?
Well, both of those things are essential as we head into the future. The structures and the task, as well as the EQ and the people skills.
Yeah, and I guess particularly with the emerging generations, they want a big vision, big picture. They want inspiration, but they also, do care about getting tasks done. They don't just want EQ everywhere. They actually want to make a difference, have an impact, and progress an organisation. And I think that's the era that we move into, productivity outcomes. So managers have their domain, but we need the inspiring big picture vision, the triple bottom line, the future. So
That's right.
leaders have their role. And I guess the future of organisations are those that have effectively functioning leaders with effectively employed managers, so that the outcomes can be great and differences can be made and staff can be engaged for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely.